Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, here we go. Training program for the 800 meters to 1500 meters, even the mile. Been getting a lot of comments for this training program, so here it is. This training program is based on the strength side of training, so 800 to mile rather than 400 to 800. So if you're a speedy guy, the training would be a little bit different. If you're an endurance guy like me, slow twitch guy, this program is right for you. Boom. Alright, here we go. We'll start my training philosophy. Most of my training is volume based. Just read through this whole thing. For you guys on your smartphones, take screenshots. For you guys on your computers, hit print screen and cut and paste into Microsoft Word or PowerPoint to save these slides. Unfortunately, I do send these, when I send these slides out to people or the PowerPoints, people do not get them in their emails, and it's been a bit of a problem. So screenshot and there you go. We're going to start. Next we have disclaimer. This training program poses a high risk. Basically, attempt this program at your own risk. If you fall, just like if you get hurt, just like anything in your life, it's your own damn fault, and I won't be held responsible. Thank you. We have training paces: easy, marathon pace, tempo, progression runs, fartlek runnings, intervals, repetition, and sprint training. So let's keep going. Here's how I do my philosophy of my math on how I calculate paces. This is geared towards the 5K, but it works the same in any distance. Just if you guys want to read through that, it's in my other 5K, 10K training programs. I explained it more better, but let's get to it. So I'm going to start with first 3 weeks. First 3 weeks is just base. It's really just easy running, right? Whether is you're training for a marathon, 5K, 10K, 800 mile, you're going to want at least 3 weeks of easy running. Now, that is if you came off of a training program before. If you had a year from training, or you had a long time, or you're really just starting, you're probably going to want to take at least 2 or 3 months before you start getting into workouts, maybe longer. You'll have to judge that. So after 3 weeks, you're building your miles, like say, get up to about 80 miles a week, right, in the base. And then you do some fartlek running, then you do a 2-mile tempo, and then you do some more fartlek running, and you just read through this slide. It's very simple. On the empty boxes, you just fill in the mileage so you hit that 60 to 80 miles a week. I'm not going to be specific about it. For the 800, most guys like to train once a day. For the 5K, 10K marathon, I train twice a day. It's just a little different, but lower mileage, 1 run a day I think is good. Let's keep going. Get on hills. Hills are very important. This next slide, slide 2. Fartlek running, more fartlek running track. These workouts are getting bigger and better. So this phase of training is still in the base phase of training, but it's the unspecific part of training, right? So like for my 5 and 10K, I do like 2 months of mountain running in Italy, 2 months of like big fartlek runnings, 10-mile tempo runs, blah blah blah. Unspecific training. Most of your training wants to be unspecific training because you want to save the real race or the specific training for when it comes time to race, and that's been 5 months on specific training because it really doesn't last that long. You may just get a little tired or burn out. But this comes into now phase 2. I call this the specific training. Now we start working on your pace. 6x400, blah blah blah. 3-mile tempo, 4x200 at your 800 meter pace. And now you could tone down the miles a little bit, right? You don't want to be at your highest point, because now when you start to turn the legs over, you want to cut back just a little bit. More repetition running. And then we go to the next slide. Slide 3. We got 2 more weeks of that specific training. We got 4x200 workouts. Tempo running. Tempo running, threshold run is actually very important in 800 because still there's a good amount, maybe 40% is aerobic in an 800, and especially for a mile that's more like 50-60% aerobic. So you want to build that aerobic part too. So we're still including tempo running. This program, like I said, is built for the strength and non-speedy run, those who have more slow twitch. The fast twitch guys would train more for like a 400, 200, 800. That's more like a sprint training program, which I do not really specialize in that, but we are over here. So you move along, now we get to phase 3, specific phase 2 I call that. So it's the second specific phase of that specific 800 mile, in sets. So now we're doing 100 meter rep, 200 rep, 300 rep, a ladder of, and it's full recovery, and you go into 800 meter pace to sprint pace, and that's what the S's are in that workout there. That's all out sprint. So you start faster, similar around in the last 2 reps, 200, 100, you're really just cranking it all out, simulating that kick, what you want at the end. 2 days later, you do an easy run, you do 5 by 2 minutes, another fartlek running. You could do them on hills or blah blah blah, and then you get your long runs. Long runs I like to do every weekend or every other weekend, and for an 800, 80 to 90 minutes is pretty good. 2 hours is probably not needed. It depends on the person. I personally won't for an 800 because I know if I want to run a fast 800, I have to not run mileage, basically. You can run mileage for a marathon, you can run mileage for a 10K, even a 5K, but the 800, nah, not happening. I suck at the 800 because I can never turn the legs over because I'm always training for a longer event. But so then you got 400 workout, blah blah blah. Next slide. So it's pretty simple. 10 by 1 minute uphill reps, jog back down. I like to do these uphill hill sprints in the base phase and also to tune that up later in the phase. Why? Because it's fast, hard running without actually going super fast. It's basically just hard running, hard rep running without going fast. And by doing so, you incorporate different muscles, but you allow the body to build into speed by running really hard without doing too much too soon, basically. So if you could just hammer on the track, 30-second reps as hard as you can, you're probably going to strain a muscle, you're probably going to get hurt, you're probably not going to adapt to it. It's better to run as hard as you would on the track, but to go slower, you do them uphill, and that's pretty simple. You do that a lot in the base, but I also like to tune that up in the middle and towards the end of the program too, because you always gotta take a step back and reassess other little specific things in your training, right? And over here I have a long progression run. Most of your long runs should be progression runs. You should start slow and get down towards maybe like a marathon pace, or not really a tempo pace, but start breathing a little heavier at the end of them. And as long also at every easy run, you might want to start 9-minute pace and end 7-minute pace for just like an 8-mile run. Just warm up into it. That's the key, warming up into every one of your runs. And then on my last page, phase 4, your taper phase, your peak phase, whatever you want to call it. This is where you win races. This is where you get to the national championship. This is where it counts. And these last 3 weeks, I like to keep it at 3 weeks, and that's fine. And you will start, I like to do a 20-minute tempo run, right? It's kind of like an extended warm-up, because that gets you ready for those 6x200s. Then once you're really warmed up after tempoing, I notice I could really run fast 200s, doing 28 seconds each or so, or whatever level you're at. It's almost a sprint. 6x200 hard, 300 plus a good hard 300, and just read through these workouts. Now looking at the mileage, we're at 40-50 miles a week. We're just slowly cutting down the miles, and then 40, and then 30. It's like half of what you've been doing. And for all these workouts, we got another cut down ladder here, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, with the last 200, 100 being sprint paces. I say at mile pace to 800 pace to sprint pace. That's definitely a good workout. And then you have the next week, 3x8 acceleration. So you start 35 second, 33, 31, 30 for every 200 of that 800, or relative to what your pace is. If you're a 220 800 runners, you're absolutely not going to go that fast. If you're a 150 guy or a 2-minute 800 guy, you're probably going to go that fast. You do 2x200 at 800 pace, your goal pace, or your pace that you should be going. So, and that's going to have to be determined by you, because I don't know everyone's pace. So just leave a comment down below, and I could write that in for you, I guess. And then last workout, you got tempo, and then you have 100 rep, 200 rep, 300, 200, 100 reps. You do that workout, and then you know, with the blank spaces in there after this program, it's like, okay, do that last workout in 2 weeks or 10 days before your race. So about another week and a half, which I didn't fill in because I don't know when everybody races, but get towards like the end of this program and then save a week or two before that big championship race. And don't forget to race during the program too. You know, it'd be alright to replace a VO2 max workout if you raced a mile, or a rep workout if you raced 800, you know, a month before in phase 2 or 3 of training. That's totally fine. I think you need to race often, but I don't think you need to over race. I don't think you need to race every week. I think after you complete this program and you hit some good PRs, maybe you want to get, you know, racing 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks in a row because you're just on a good high. And I noticed after a good training cycle and I'm just hitting PRs, I'm like, I'm jumping in every race I can just to PR, and then it's pretty good. So, but that's the end of this video. Ooh, 10 minutes. And never stop running. Bada bing, bada boom.